Why do we get in our own way? Why do we procrastinate, doubt ourselves, or avoid opportunities that could push us forward? If you've ever found yourself stuck in the same patterns, feeling like you're your own worst enemy, this is the episode. Hi everyone and welcome back to the Finding Success podcast. I'm Adam and this is my co-host Alex. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Today we're talking about a topic that many of us struggle with, and that is self-sabotage. But before we get into the episode, please don't forget to share this podcast, subscribe to the videos, make sure you give us reviews. We need those reviews. And contact us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Links will all be down below. And don't forget to comment on our YouTube videos as well. Share them, get them big, so we can help you out and help the world. How are you doing, man? How was your week? All right.
Oh, it's been lovely, brother.
Yeah?
Yeah, so obviously we've been travelling a little bit, but we came back in the UK, and I still feel like I'm on that time zone.
Oh, man, awful.
So I've been waiting. I'm a fan, because I'm up 6 a.m, like, wide awake. Yeah, so my productivity in the first 2 hours of the day have been through the roof.
Yeah, which is good.
Which is, as long as you take advantage of it, it's fantastic. Like, the first... I have been this week, and it's just felt brilliant. Yeah. Before 8 o'clock, I've done 80% of the work that I need to do that day. Yeah, it's relieving. So I just need to keep that in mind.
Just keep it in your head.
Yeah. Just how powerful that is. I need to keep using it. What about yourself? How was your week?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm just like I said to you before we start recording. I feel tired.
Yeah.
I'm now going back to that time zone. Tired again. So it's kind of a hard.
Well, we're going further now, aren't we?
Yeah. So it's a hard transition to sort of get back into it, but. I think we'll be all right. I think it just takes time. Just takes time, mate. Just takes time. Before we get into the episode as well, sorry, don't forget to get a piece of paper and a pen. Just making sure you take these notes down. Now, self-sabotage. This is something that I think we both have struggled with. I've just got a little cramp in my leg, but we'll carry on. This is something we both struggle with. I think... And we had this conversation, we had a meeting the other day talking about what we want to go with the podcast and what direction we go, and direction of ourselves as well. Yeah. And how the Mac is now supporting Butson's future goals, helping him progress, because he was self-sabotaging himself with a crappy Windows laptop.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
But there's... What is self-sabotage? First of all.
Yeah. Self-sabotage is where you subconsciously, consciously act against your own best interests. Yeah. It's you putting yourself on the back foot. Sometimes you're doing it consciously to feel like you're protecting yourself, feel like you're defending yourself, you've got your shields up. Other times it's subconsciously and you don't realise you're doing it, but it's putting you it's hindering you, it's putting you in a bad position. Yeah. It's a voice in your head that tells you you're not ready for this, whether it be, Instagram portfolios, a business you're starting, a work role or a job you've just applied for, or even in sports, like you're going to play a golf course that you're a bit of a novice and it's a tour course. It's those sort of things. It's just that voice in your head saying maybe you're not ready. That's conscious sabotage. Unconscious stuff is maybe just quietly avoid a situation at work because you're like, well, no, I don't want to put myself forward and expose myself. Even though that could be the lead to going forward in life, you still just hang back, protect yourself. It's like putting your shields up without realising it.
Yeah, I think it's quite a common thing that people experience on a day-to-day basis but don't actually realise that they're experiencing. I think it obviously becomes hand in hand with self-doubt. Doubting yourself and sabotaging yourself are basically two of the same things. Sorry, we're doubting our knowledge, our understanding of what we can actually do, and in turn of doubting ourselves, we're sabotaging our future. And it sabotage or self-sabotage shows up quite easy. There's only a few things. Well, there's quite a few things that arrives and sort of shows us the way that we are sabotaging ourselves. But I think one big way is perfectionism, obviously something we struggle with massively. Maybe procrastination in some cases of life.
Procrastination's huge. I think that's one of the biggest self-sabotage things people do. You and I do it. Yeah, I guarantee you listeners, you would have some form of procrastination. Yeah. I've had it at work. There was an important email came through. I had to do this thing that came through the email I had to apply for. And it was a little bit of work, a bit of digging out information like birth certificates or passports and stuff like that. And it was just was like, I haven't got time. I need to focus on what I'm doing. And I just kept on putting it back, and to the point where I was in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And that ended up like causing me a bit of grief and more stress and more anxiety, all that sort of stuff for absolutely no reason. I completely sabotaged myself because of the procrastination. Just wanted to put off a little bit of stress now. And when I did it, actually, it was 20
easy.
minutes of like not even stress, just think, oh, that's what that is. That's where information is. That's where I need to get this stuff. So yeah, I think procrastination is a massive one that everyone has.
One thing that I've experienced, I think we both experienced this as well, is fear of failure / success as well. Like, I think in some ways, a lot of people are fearful to be successful because they don't want the added stress, like you've just said, to have to run a business, to have to go into work on a day-to-day basis, to always be around at your phone to answer phone calls and problem solve. But also, they're scared of being failures or known as failures. They don't want to have a failing business. They don't want to have that on their shoulders. So it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? If we don't go and try, we never know if it will succeed or fail. But if it does succeed, then we've got all the added pressure of running a business to make sure it continues to succeed. Yeah. And I think that holds a lot of people back as well. I mean, I know that I've struggled in some ways with the fear of being, actually, shit, this has worked, but now I've got all this back work to do and all this continuous work to do every single day, day in, day out. Am I really willing to do that? You have to ask yourself the question and answer it. I think it's quite hard.
It's so tough. So fear of anything is sort of a hormonal emotional reaction to keeping us alive. From way back, if you think about when we were cavemen, hunter-gatherers, it was fear kept you, if like you heard noise in the woods, you'd run or you'd fight or fly. That sort of fear kept you alive. Nowadays, there's still a little bit of that. Like, obviously, if you see a scary animal you don't like, you're going to run away, you're going to try and protect yourself. But we don't really have it as much in the day-to-day.
No.
We now have it from like the work experience, our workplace or home environment, other things. So, or social, what would you call it? Social pressure. You have fear of like failing in front of groups of people. You have fear of failing businesses and so on. And it's a natural response that we all have built inside of us. We just need to learn to control it and sometimes ignore it.
Yeah. I think that, you're right. Ignoring it is probably quite a hard thing, but also understanding that fear is there, but it's there for a reason. Fear's not necessarily a bad thing that we should ignore. Absolutely. It's a good thing that we should understand and go, I am fearful of this, and this is why I need to do it.
Perfect.
So stuff like the David Goggins always says he's scared of doing the 100-mile runs or stuff like that, because it's not because it's easy. It's not easy. It's there because it just challenges yourself. The fear of getting up at 5 a.m. to go for a run, like that sort of thing. It's not really fear. It's just I can't be asked. Procrastinating in some ways, but you're fearful of the I can't do it.
Fear. Yeah, you need to use fear to push yourself to do it. It's like, if I don't, I could be putting myself in all sorts of health problems in the future, all sorts of cardiovascular issues in the close future. You need to use, so fear can be used in a positive way as well as a negative way. Yeah. But I think a lot of us don't have that control over it just yet. We need to actively work on it to prevent ourselves, sabotage ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that brought fear to my head yesterday is I was listening to a podcast, and this guy was saying basically over the course of, I think it's 10 years, the average person puts on around 5 pounds of weight. So if you start at, say, 20 and you're weighing, I don't know, I'm going to use kilos, so it's 2.5 kilos a year, every 10 years. Say you weigh 85 kilos or 90 kilos, nice round number. 10 years' time, you're 2.5 kilos heavier or 5 kilos heavier, depending on who you are. So when you get to like 80 or 60, 70, you're actually a big boy. And that should be fearful because you're going to be fat.
Yeah, at an older age.
And that should fit. That actually put a bit of fear in me. I need to understand this way on the scales, because physically I've grown in size, as in muscle mass, but I've also gained weight. Yeah. So I need to understand, I've actually put on weight. Yes, some is muscle mass, but a lot is body fat. So I need to lose body fat.
You put on body fat?
Yeah, a little bit. So, but you need to understand that and be known that is a fear that I have, and use that to an advantage of me, and actually go, right, I'm fearful of this. I don't want this to be me. I'm therefore going to lose weight, and make sure I don't put on 5 pounds every 10 years. I want them to be a poundy every 10 years or something. Do you know what I mean? A smaller increment.
Yeah, absolutely. Use fear. It can help and hinder, and just as long as we're in control of it, That's the biggest thing. Use fear properly.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful to negate self-sabotage. Use fear properly to help accelerate your life, your career, your business goals, whatever it may be. It's a very, very powerful thing, fear. You've got to make sure you're not using it to sabotage.
But why do we do it? Why do we automatically, or why do we self-sabotage?
Oh, there's many things. I think one of them could be fear of change. If you're going back into fear, but you're just fearful of change. Maybe if you realise, if I work a little bit harder, I might get this promotion, which means I'm now in charge of X amount of people.
Yeah.
Which means suddenly I've got a lot of pressure on my shoulders. I feel a lot more weight. I don't want that. It means I've got to work harder, and my whole life will change. Maybe my missus might be prouder, but that means I'm going to have to sacrifice more hours at work. It's going to change your life. You've got in your routine, you're loving it, and all of a sudden it's changed, and that can be upsetting to people. Even with just your routine, like now you'd have to go to work earlier, or you'd have to have meetings later on in the day, and you won't be able to hit the gym at the same time as you normally do. So you won't be able to hit your friends group at the same time we're in the gym, and it could have just changed so much of your life. That was very gym focused, I know, and work focused, but there's a plethora of things. But the fear of change, I think, is one of the reasons why we self-sabotage.
Yeah.
What about you?
Past experiences,
I
think, is quite a common one for a lot of people. I think from my point of view as well, having I'm going to use a failing business idea. So say if you've had a previous business that has failed and you've sabotaged that is yourself. You've had reasons that it's failed. I think a lot of people struggle to then jump in to start another business. I think we hear these success stories because I've had WD-40, right, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really know what WD-40 stands for, but it's actually called water displacement 40. The reason the 40 is there is because it took him 39 times to try it before the 40th one was successful. But for a lot of people, they wouldn't get past number one. They'd try it once and go, this ain't going to work, and then get rid of it, So I think fear of past experience and actually this hasn't worked in the past, what's to say it's going to work again? Even if all these little tweaks. Yeah, they just don't bother. Even these little tweaks and stuff, they're just, what's the point?
Yep.
And stuff I find this a lot with traders as well. A lot of traders jump from system to system because they're just looking for the next best thing. But in reality, their first system worked perfectly. They just heard of a better thing. And rather than sticking to the system, they've gone, right, well, this one's better, I'll jump on this. And then realising that the past experience of what they've done, they do it again because they think it's going to get better. And it's not true. Yeah,
completely sabotaging themselves. They had something that could have worked if they just give it time and its place.
Water it, nurture it, look after it, and they haven't.
I think it's a case with podcasters. How many podcasts is it? Is it
6 episodes?
90% of podcasts don't get past 6 episodes.
Yeah.
It's because they do it, they think it's going to blow up and see 1 million views on YouTube straight away.
Not the case.
It's not the case, but if you grew it and nurtured it, 3 podcasts. Joe Rogan, how many episodes is he on?
2,000 something now.
Yeah. But thousands of episodes.
Yeah.
And he just started it with a group of mates and just wanted to chat to them and just record it, put it on the internet. He never knew it was going to become to what it was, and he just sort of nurtured it as he saw it grow, and was like, oh, this is going to something. Chris Williamson, again, he fantastic podcast. He sort of grew up to a certain point, realised he needed to change a little bit, adapted, grew, worked on it harder, sort of saw viewers drop away because he was changing who he was and how he'd do it, and now he's one of the biggest podcasts in the world. Who else is out there? Jocko, he just kept on doing them. He does them regardless of views and listens, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Just does them because he wants to help people that are listening, the small amount of people that are listening.
Yeah.
I feel like if you just give up too soon trading, you're trying to design your strategy, and you sort of see, it's not massively profitable in the first year of your back testing. You go, find the next shiny object. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
And you're hindering yourself. You're completely sabotaging your journey, because if you just gave it that little bit longer, it could have paid dividends.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to decide whether it's worth leaving something or carrying on with something. That is a hard thing to decipher. But if you just gave something a little bit longer each time, maybe you'd find something a bit solid, and you wouldn't sabotage your.
Get rid of those past experiences are not so scary, are they?
Exactly.
I think a lot of people also struggle with control issues as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Me, when it comes to certain things, I like to be under control. And if I can't control something, I'm like, how do I know if it's going to succeed? How do I know if this person's going to turn up? One thing that I struggle with is, in some cases, truly trusting someone to show up.
Okay.
So, I can't control if that person's going to be there on time. I can't control what they're going to bring. I can't control if they're going to bring coffee. I can't control I can't control what they're.
About me.
I am a little bit, but I can't control what time they're going to be there, what they're going to be wearing, if they've got all their equipment with them. Like, do you know what I mean? I can't control that.
No.
So, but if I could say, right, give me all of your equipment, and I will just pop you in the seat, then that I've got control of everything. So it's a lot easier. I think a lot of people who start a business from like their own person, and they've just taken years and years to chip away, and now they're handing the keys over to a manager. I think they struggle with that because they can't just walk away.
Absolutely, I completely understand that. It's you're giving the control to someone else, you're giving responsibility to someone else, and that can be really hard.
Yeah,
especially like you said, if you want it to be to a certain level, you need to take control of it almost. And it's the worst way to motivate your staff. So if you are growing a business, if you just take their control away, take their it's something about when you hire someone, you need them to have a little bit of purpose, a little bit of responsibility. Yeah. Responsibility, especially to men, it's inbuilt in us to make us thrive. We want responsibility. We want to be needed in a way. So taking that away from someone can really hinder your business, and that's going to sabotage your business. Even though you think you're doing what's best. Oh, I've hired someone else. I've outsourced this, but actually you're micromanaging the shit out of them. Like, it's going to sabotage yourself. Which will give them low self-esteem, which is something else that really hinders your personal development, your personal life. If you have low self-worth, you're going to be sabotaging yourself. You're not going to be like, oh, I don't think I can do that. I'm not going to go out there today. No, you need a free kick taken on a football pitch. No, I don't think I can do that. So you don't hear Ronaldo saying that, do you? If you have low self-worth, you're going to sabotage yourself in every opportunity possible. Yeah. Friends are saying, oh, do you want to come out for a drink? Oh, no, I haven't got really the right clothes to wear. No, I can't do that. You know,
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, so it's low self-worth as well. It's just all four of those points. Yeah, really, really good for why we self-sabotage.
How do you think we can stop it then? Because, again, we've all lived, a majority, not all of them, but we have lived these experiences. So we kind of know how we can stop it. I mean, some of us are still in the process of stopping it, but how can we stop self-sabotage ourselves? Number one, buying a MacBook Pro or MacBook. That's
why you got to bring me into every time?
I'm actually giving you kudos, mate. You know what I mean? I'm saying he's done something. Self-sabotage.
That's right. Building. I'm going to forget about that. Just like many things we talk about, one of the key things to start with is awareness.
Yeah.
If you're aware that you become aware of what self-sabotage is, listen to this episode, fantastic. When you go away from this episode, start trying to think about when you could be self-sabotaging. So, and as you start thinking about it, this will take a few months to realise, but you'll see, I stepped out of that situation because I was a bit uncomfortable. I didn't want to get involved. It could have led to something good, but I just went, no, I'm not. You had low self-worth, so you didn't get involved. Come back from that conversation and go, oh, hang on a minute, that was a bit of self-sabotage. I maybe could have helped there if I was just spoke up, a bit more confident in this situation, etc. You need to, start noticing when and how you're self-sabotaging yourself. Awareness is the first step towards changing that self-sabotage. Yeah. Simple as that. It's so key. Awareness. Powerful.
Absolutely. I also think, once we've been aware, or once we're aware to it, I think also challenging those negative thoughts. So once, I think, like you said, we're paying attention to now to where the self-sabotage is coming from. We understand why we're doing it. But now, let's challenge the reasons behind those thoughts. So the I can't take a free kick thought is actually you can take a free kick thought. You just why can you not do that? Why challenge yourself? Challenge the negativity in your mind, and go, actually, I can do that. I might not be the best free kicker on this team, but I'm just going to do it anyway. And if it goes well, it goes well. Amazing. If it doesn't, who cares? It doesn't really matter. It's not the end of the world, is it? Challenge those negative thoughts, and I think you'll put yourself in a much better position for the future because you are saying, I actually can do things that I previously didn't think I could. And when you've experienced the things that you didn't think you could experience or didn't think you could do, you're putting yourself into a mind of, actually, I can do anything. If you seriously put your mind to anything, you can actually do anything. So challenging those negative thoughts and putting your mind to work, leaps and bounds.
Love it. I think setting realistic goals.
Yep.
That's key as well, especially if you're coming from a low self-worth part of your life. If you're feeling a bit down all the time, you're not quite so confident. Setting slightly smaller goals for yourself, massive.
Yeah.
If you start ticking them off, start hitting each goal, going, hang on a minute, I'm actually achieving stuff now. And they could just be like getting up at 5 a.m. every morning to go to the gym, go for a swim, whatever it may be, whatever your endeavours may be. Starting a podcast, just start recording episodes, start being in front of the camera, those sorts of things.
Getting used to being in front of the camera as well.
Massive.
Yeah.
If you, sorry, set realistic goals, break into your goals, small manageable steps, so they feel less overwhelming, and you will start to just grow as a human. You won't be fearful of the change that's coming. You'll grow your self-worth. You won't be in the dumps anymore. You'll be proud of yourself. Yeah, massively important.
We had this conversation literally probably half an hour before we started recording this podcast, and one of our friends come to us and we're talking about a situation that he's been in or is in currently, and self-compassion. So we show compassion in that friend in some cases, but also I don't think we show ourselves enough self-compassion. Say a friend comes to us and he's gone, "Oh, my business has failed." You wouldn't go, "Yeah, you're a failure." You go, "It's all right, mate. We'll make it work. We'll work together. We'll get it going. It's going to be fine. Don't stress about it." But for me especially, and I'm a person that does this all the time, if I've failed at something, I go, "I'm fucking shit at that. I failed." So, like, why would I do that? Why would I make myself feel worse than what I already am? Well, there's two different ways. Some people are different to each other. Some people actually go, "You failed." For me, I go, "Shit, I have failed. I need to work better at that." Some people will go to themselves, "You're a failure," and they go, "Shit, bang, fall face into a cliff." So, showing self-compassion or develop self-compassion in two different ways. If you are someone that has or likes to experience tough love, give yourself I have failed, but I'm going to do it better next time. If you're someone who struggles with that and goes, "Shit, I failed," head down, be gentler and understand yourself. There's two different ways you need to deal with yourself and deal with your mind and find your own way. Again, there's not a right or wrong answer for this. You can't say, "Yeah, do it this way or do it that way." No. Just giving our opinions. My opinion is, if I say to myself I failed, I will work harder to make sure I don't fail next time. But find your own self-compassion in ways that work for you, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I love that. That's fantastic. I think if you find none of those work for you, you can't develop anti-self-sabotage. If you can't start helping yourself, sometimes just seeking support.
Yeah,
friends, like you were just saying, helping out, speaking to a close friend. Therapists, sometimes they get more and more popular. There's what's that? There's an online one now.
BetterHelp, don't you?
BetterHelp, yeah, and you can just call them up and just have appointments every week, and you never have to see them face to face. I think you can do it online, but
it's all online.
It's so much better. Just go and seek help. A mentor, even if it's a business related thing. So many ways to be able to find help about this that I'm sure 90% of people older than you have been through. I think we forget that. Yeah. That I did when I was younger. I remember thinking, my parents have never been my age.
What do I know?
Yeah, exactly. They've never had to learn to drive a car or had this first love thing. No, they've done it all. So chances are someone a bit older than you that's a bit more experienced, chances are they've got the answer, or they've had something similar that's worth going to. Yeah. Going to them to find out what they did.
I agree with that. I love it.
That's right.
Anything else to add before we close up this episode?
No, brother. Good. Sorted.
Perfect.
Breaking free from self-sabotage isn't easy, but it's possible. Remember, you deserve success, happiness, and to progress. Start understanding the ways you might be holding yourself back and take small steps towards